What's going on, Guardians? So the Solstice event returned to us, and with it, the usual weapons with new roles and a new weapon in the form of the rocket launcher. The question is, with 1 week left of Solstice, are these weapons worth your time? Now, having managed to get decent rolls on all of the weapons, I decided to give each one a fair shot and see how it feels. Now, this really isn't meant to be a deep dive into these weapons, just as a heads up. Quite frankly, none of them are really worth a full-length review. The main goal here is just to inform people on these weapons so they can decide whether or not they'll be worth their time. Of the 3 available, only one of them really impressed me, and it may surprise you which one. Starting with the new weapon, the rocket launcher, it sucks. Like, straight up, there's no way around it. This thing is ass. To start, it's a precision frame rocket, and right now, that archetype just isn't the play anyway. On top of that, there just aren't very many good rolls. Really, the only one I found particularly interesting was Demolitionist and Envious Assassin, just to keep up a decent rate of fire on the rockets. Outside of that, unless you want to get a good roll in the event that precision frames get buffed at some point, there are rockets that are way more worth your time. Apex Predator from The Last Wish is craftable and is easily one of the best rockets in the game right now, and Cold Comfort is arguably better, and you can farm it from the Ghosts of the Deep dungeon. Even if you're a free-to-play player, the Crucible rocket launcher Blowout can get Demolitionist and Explosive Light, and grinding for one of those would be way more worth your time. So the rocket is kind of an L. Moving on, something new returned, and with it, new perks. It's a Stasis 120 RPM hand cannon, and let me just get this out of the way really quickly, there are better 120s out there, without question. Bottom dollar, round robin, so on and so forth. Really, the most attractive thing about this hand cannon is that it can roll with kill clip for those crispy 122 taps. Granted, round robin can also have kill clip and it's a better weapon, but if you're a free-to-play player, this is your best option for a kill clip 120. In fact, it might be the only kill clip 120 available for free-to-play Guardians, though I could be wrong on that. So if you want a kill clip 120 and don't have access to round robin, this is probably your best option. You can take a look at the perk pool on your screen currently, and this pool is for sure an improvement over the old one, but it still has some problems. First off, the Dreamwork intrinsic trait, which you can see on your screen right here, actually works against kill clip. It doesn't seem to happen all that often, but occasionally it can kick in, and because kill clip requires you to reload to get the damage boost, sometimes it can prevent you from taking advantage of it. Which is why I found my preferred roles to be Rapid Hit and Encore, or surprisingly enough, Subsistence and Encore. Rapid Hit for the increased stability on precision hits, and Subsistence because this gun has an annoyingly low mag size, like 7 rounds, which is nothing, and with the weapon's terrible reload speed, Subsistence and Dreamwork were actually very helpful in keeping the mag reloaded. Quite frankly, going on a brief tangent here, from a balancing perspective, the low mag size on 120s seems rather unnecessary. They already have a slow TTK, high recoil, and generally low handling and stability. Getting back on track, the second issue is with Titans plaguing the Crucible right now, the kill clip 2 taps won't be as consistent as the vast majority of Titan players will be running max resilience or close to it. So until Titans get dealt with, I'm leaning more towards consistency perks on cannons than lethality perks, and Encore is somewhere between a lethality perk and a consistency perk, and it's honestly just a very good weapon perk as a whole. Other than that, Ricochet rounds is going to be the best choice for your mag perk. For barrel perks, Fluted Barrel to help with your handling, unless you're using something else to help your weapon handling, such as an Ophids Warlock or an On Your Mark or Threat of Ascent Hunter, in which case I'd probably go with small bore or maybe Hammerforged rifling. Overall, it's not a bad hand cannon, I found it just wasn't very consistent. There were matches where it felt great and did exactly what I needed it to, and other times where I just felt like I could not make it work. That being said, it's not a bad option. At the very least, you have a better chance of getting a good roll on it than most of the other 120s currently in the game. I do like this hand cannon for the most part. It feels good. It falls somewhere between good enough and above average, landing definitely closer to good enough. Really, if Bungie wanted to make this a very good 120, all they'd need to do is maybe swap out a perk in the third column for something like Keep Away, Slide Shot, or Perpetual Motion. But until that happens, this cannon is really only worth your time if you are a strictly free-to-play player. As far as PvE goes, there are definitely some options here. In the third column, you have Feeding Frenzy, Wellspring, Triple Tap, Subsistence, and Pugilist. Then in the fourth column, Headstone, Demolitionist, and of course the various damage perks, which would for sure be helpful as well. Personally, I'd be looking for either Subsistence with Demo or Tricorn, or Feeding Frenzy with Kill Clip. Lastly, the weapon that I kind of anticipated impressing me the most did in fact impress me the most. Compass Rose is a precision frame solar pellet shotgun. When this shotgun first released, it really wasn't that great, but since the shotgun rework, precision frame shotguns are the best pellet shotgun archetype in the game. There honestly isn't a ton to say about this weapon outside of fairly standard shotgun stuff, but it's still a very good shotgun. Now, Compass Rose isn't Matador by any means, but Matador isn't the only good energy shotgun in the game right now either. Compass Rose is on par with something like Retold Tale, the Dreaming City precision frame shotgun, and Retold is also very good. Particularly if you're looking for a defensive shotgun, you can go with Barrel Shroud, Accurized Rounds, Quick Draw, and Snapshot for a very fast handling weapon. And that role in particular is exactly what I would go for if you want one for PvP on Compass Rose. For PvE, there's not a lot in that third column, maybe Genesis or Grave Robber. In the fourth column though, Incandescent would be awesome for solar builds, Trench Barrel would be good for melee builds, and if nothing else, Cascade Point would be a ton of fun. But really, Envious Assassin would probably still be my top choice there. I will say too, this is more of a PvP shotgun. There's for sure better PvE shotguns out there, and once again, it's no Matador, but it's still a very, very good shotgun. In fact, after using it the last few days, it's probably going to be one of my go-tos. Plus, if nothing else, this will be easier to farm for than a Matador. You don't have to wait for Grasp to be in rotation, and you don't have to worry about looking for a fire team and setting up a checkpoint. You can just run Bonfire Bash until you get what you want, which I know can get boring, but still, it's definitely worth it. Plus, you also for sure have a better chance of getting a good roll on this than on Retold, so it's a very accessible and very good shotgun to be sure. If I were to change one thing on this weapon, I would give it Opening Shot in the fourth column. Opening Shot helps a lot with the inconsistency that shotguns tend to have, and this shotgun is no different. Sometimes it worked beautifully, and other times it just didn't. Adding Opening Shot to that fourth column would actually make this one of the better defensive shotguns in the game, and it would give free-to-play players a good energy precision frame shotgun with Opening Shot. Other than that, Solstice this year is honestly pretty mid. The Bonfire Bash event is actually more watered down than it used to be. It doesn't use nearly as much of the EAZ as it used to, for one thing, which is a real shame because the EAZ is such a dope arena. You also don't have to run around it at the end looking for chests either, which is something that I actually kind of miss. It added kind of a fun treasure hunt aspect to the event. But if nothing else, get a good Compass Rose. If you're a free-to-play player, get a good Something New and a good Compass Rose. The rocket can be ignored, at least for the time being. Those are the Solstice weapons. I'm very disappointed with the rocket, kind of disappointed with the hand cannon as well, but I'm actually very happy with the shotgun. Compass Rose is easily the most exceptional weapon here, and for sure the one most worth your time, especially if you're a PvP player. But that's all from me today, Guardians. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, do me a favor and leave me a like and a comment, and don't forget to subscribe with the bell icon. It really helps me out. Also, let me know what your thoughts on these weapons are. For now, I will see you all in the next video. Peace, Guardians.